Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in and welcome. Gold and silver in the green. Gold approaching $1,900, silver approaching 25. Right now is a critical time to be paying attention, to be tuning in to the precious metals world, as well as what's happening in the economy, because that heavily influences and affects the prices. YouTube is telling me that 60% of you guys that watch my videos aren't subscribed. It is crucial that you are subscribed to at least a channel like mine that gives you guys updates on a daily basis of what's happening and what you should do about it. So make sure you smash that subscribe button. This chart right here, this graph is a very important graph for a couple different reasons, but there's one reason in particular. You see this huge mountain right here, right? This is like the Rocky Mountains, and everything down here, it's pretty flat. It's a plateau. Up here is where, in the last 20 years, because it goes back to 2002, this is where silver hit basically $50. And now you can see things start to pick up again. But this graph, even though we're not time travelers, even though we don't have a crystal ball to see in the future, is going to go back up here again. And I know you say, well, how do you know that? Well, I'm going to explain how I know that. So back here in 2008, this is the credit crisis. You can see the dip shot silver down to $9, right? And you can see the same type of dip, pandemic hit, shot silver down to $11. So very similar. We see a huge crash. Then the recovery phase. $1 billion stimulus thrown in, which kills the dollar, pushes precious metals higher. 3 years later, $50. Nowadays, $1 trillion stimulus. So if that $1 billion stimulus hurt the dollar that bad, and look where it led it, this is $1 trillion stimulus. Where do you think it's going to go? Plus, we have a global pandemic, and we have the most controversial election. We have Joe Biden that won, also throwing trillions into this green energy plan that's using lots of solar panels, and we know that silver is used in these photovoltaic cells, which is in solar panels. So think how much crazier, how much more extreme, how much more severe times are now. So if that little situation in 2008 led to $50 silver, imagine what it's going to lead to today. And we're already starting to see that movement. The dollar is directly correlated to gold and silver prices, and when the dollar is hurt, gold and silver go up. We know for a fact, once trillions of dollars get thrown into the economy, it's going to hurt the dollar. So there is a guarantee that gold and silver will come out on top. So anyways, knowing that information, a lot of you, especially if you're newer, are probably thinking this: is it too late? Have I missed the boat? And I can tell you this with 100% confidence. No, you haven't. Not yet, but it's coming sooner than expected, actually. This pandemic has sped the process up, right? We were thinking that silver wasn't gonna really take off or explode, quote unquote, for another 5-10 years. But this pandemic has sped things up so much faster, and things are so much severe that we really have to be on our A game, and we got to take advantage of these low prices, because this might be the last time that we see $20 silver. So I found an article, a great article from Seeking Alpha, titled "Silver as Compelling as Ever." Great article to talk about silver supply, industrial uses, why silver, why now. Even goes into some graphs. It's a really good article. It's a really good read. I definitely think you're going to enjoy this. Links in the description. Make sure to smash the like button. Let's jump into it. Silver investment tends to outperform gold when financial markets face turbulence. Silver is still undervalued compared to gold. And it's extremely undervalued compared to gold. Not just undervalued. The gold to silver ratio is around 80-1, meaning gold is 80 times more valuable than silver, which makes no sense because it comes out of the ground 8-1. Silver is used in more things than gold is. Silver performs better than gold, right? Just because gold is the royal metal, I guess people have like romanticized it and made it to something that really is kind of over infatuated, because silver is used more in technology. Gold is used more for jewelry, more for coinage, more for bars, necklaces, earrings. Silver is the thing that's in your laptops, cell phones, all that stuff. So the Fed's dovish stance by the commodity's wide use in manufacturing electronic devices and batteries are extremely bullish factors for the shiny gray metal. And, when we look at commodities, when we look at precious metals, silver is a much smaller market than gold, much smaller. So when there's money thrown into it, it's more volatile. It hits higher highs and lower lows. It's like gold on steroids. It's definitely an extreme version of gold, which can make it more risky, but also gives it more potential, right? And actually, there's something that I wanted to say, speaking on this note as well. Silver is definitely, or has in the past, been seen as valuable as gold, right? Gold and silver have been seen as a form of exchangeable currency for 5,000 years, basically since the beginning of man. And back in the day, biblical times, Egyptian times, Egyptians saw silver as magical because it could purify water the way it responded with other elements. So the gold to silver ratio actually used to be 1-to-1 as early as we can know. And then the Egyptians back then, it was like 2.5-to-1. So 2.5 parts silver equals 1 part gold. So it was basically equivalent. It wasn't until over time, when mining came along, when it was 8-to-1. And then, in the early 1900s, it went around 16-to-1. In 1930, FDR changed the gold to silver ratio from 16-to-1 to 75-to-1 overnight. It's crazy, but it's true. Overnight, FDR had literally devalued the dollar. So silver supply. The silver supply is getting quite tight. It's not just because the supply of all physical metals is limited. The main reason here seems to be the fact that in 2019, mine production fell for the 4th consecutive year. That's big news right there. Mine production fell for the 4th consecutive year. That means silver production has been getting cut back. And that's important to take note because more than ever, not only with big business, but individual investors, and we can see that from the U.S. Mint, Royal Canadian Mint, and Perth Mint saying their numbers are off the charts right now. Silver production has been falling, but the demand for silver, everybody's wanting it right now. Not only people like you and I, Perth Mint sales out the roof, but also big business, 5G towers, electric vehicles, and solar panels. So everyone, including businesses, are trying to get their hand on a slice of the silver pie, but the production has been getting cut back. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to shoot prices up. Quite interesting is also the fact that only 28% of silver's production is due to primary mining, right? And nobody's looking for silver because it's not profitable. Most of it is found by accident. When they're looking for gold, lead, zinc, copper, if they find some silver on the side, they'll take it, but they're not looking for it. So supply is not only the factor to consider when assessing the attractiveness of investing in an SLV. Industrial uses. In my previous article on silver, I've mostly focused on its use in solar batteries. Indeed, the green energy agenda has become particularly popular in the last couple of years. However, we should also be mindful that silver is used in absolutely all kinds of electronics, and these are not just smartphones, PCs, or TV sets. Electric vehicles' batteries are also made with the use of silver. What is more, it looks like the demand for all these goods is rising, particularly in Asia, in spite of the economic crisis they have recently experienced. This also seems to be the case with developed countries such as the EU, as Europe and US. In my view, it is also due to the fact that lots of money printed by the Federal Reserve did not just go to Wall Street, but also Main Street. In other words, many people have got unemployment benefits and other financial help from the government. This obviously led to a rise in well-being, further boosting the demand for products typically made with the use of silver. And that's silver's win-win situation. I always say silver's a win-win situation for this reason, and this reason only. When the dollar is down, right, gold and silver rise. When in times of economic turmoil and economic uncertainty, when people don't trust governments, banks, gold and silver are a safe haven metal, right? What people transfer their money out of dollars into gold and silver. But when things are going good, gold doesn't benefit. Gold only benefits when things are bad. Silver also benefits when things are good, because when things are good, money's going down, production, electronics getting built, people manufacturing, and silver's used in all those applications. So then silver production or silver's uses is still being put to use. And silver demand is still up. Silver's uses are still up. So silver wins no matter if the economy's in good or bad shape. It's a win-win situation. So why silver? Why now? These measures will not just prevent deflation. Some experts think they will also lead to inflation in the longer run. This is highly bullish for both gold and silver, which are inflation hedges. Pfizer and BioNTech claim their COVID vaccine is more than 90% effective. This news is highly encouraging. However, safety and additional data are still collected. And I can throw you guys some information. By the way, guys. By the way, I know a lot of what's happening with a lot of situations that are relevant in today's times. And I'm not just saying that to say it. I really am not. I read several articles a day on the most relevant information because I have a YouTube channel. If I didn't have a YouTube channel, I probably wouldn't to the degree that I do. But I got to keep you guys informed, and I got to keep you guys in the loop of what's really happening. So this pandemic vaccine is 90% effective is great news, but it brought a euphoric perspective on the markets, because once people heard that, they said, "Oh, this is great. There's a vaccine now. We're all going to be cured." But once you look at the small fine details at the bottom of the page, then you realize the reality. There's only 50 million doses. 50 million doses for a global, right, for a global cure, and it's only to people. It's to prevent. It's preventative, not curable. And not only that, it's also even smaller because it's going to be hard to transport, who gets it, and also dosing. It's going to take a very long time for that to even go through. So the pandemic is going to keep spreading. Cases are rising faster and more than ever. So yes, that's great news, but it's not going to do anything in the short term, anytime soon. Meanwhile, France, Germany, and UK were forced into another lockdown. How about the US? Well, it's recently announced the pandemic cases stopped 140,000 per day. The surge is more serious in some states than others. Anthony Fauci, the U.S. government's top infectious disease expert, is warning that the worst is yet to come. Exactly. That's what the worst is yet to come. That is why it seems logical the U.S. might face another lockdown, which will derail the country's economic recovery and derails people's hope. If that happens, the U.S. government will have to provide the economy with even more fiscal stimuli. So, if you guys don't understand this, $1 trillion stimulus is something that's great, especially with people out of work. But we do not have trillions of dollars to give away. We really don't. So, yes, it's great, but there's going to be consequences. There's going to be a cost to pay because we don't have that money. But that money has to come from somewhere. It's going to hurt the dollar. Given the tremendous U.S. budget deficit, the stimuli will not get available unless the Fed prints more money in return. This will lead to further dollar devaluation, thus making investors rush to buy precious metals. So you can see how every situation, every scenario that plays out is looking very good for precious metals. So for anyone to say, gold and silver, it's bearish market, it's not good, you might as well invest in the cryptocurrency. You might as well invest in XYZ. You look at them and you can laugh at it, because if anyone that knows what's happening doesn't see how blatantly obvious it is that precious metals are the best investment, then they shouldn't be investing, period, because that means they don't understand the economy, they don't understand how markets work, and if you don't understand how markets work, you shouldn't be investing in anything. So, sorry, I'm very passionate, and when it's something, it's like, I wouldn't be as irritated at the situation if it wasn't as obvious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a conversation with someone the other day about this because she invests in the stocks, and she's, it's just like she said, yeah, someone told me the other day not to invest in the precious metals. So she was like on the fence, like, well, someone told me not to. And like, the fact that she's going to listen to that person, which gave her absolutely no reason why you shouldn't, it bugged me, because then I had to reply. Obviously, you know me, I had to reply and give her the whole shebang, like a 10-page text of you like, you know me. But it's just irritating because people don't look into it, but it's so obvious. Like I told her like, so do you understand like like how broke we are? Do you understand that we're $27 trillion in debt? Do you understand any of that? Do you understand any of that? Because if you do, then you should know since you're an investor. Then you know that when we throw the stimulus out, it's going to hurt the dollar, right? Like drastically. We've never thrown trillions out, right? And what that's going to do when it hurts the dollar is push gold and silver up. It's going to kill stocks. You invest in the stocks, you probably shouldn't for too long because stocks are going to crash. There's going to be a stock market crash. The dollar is going to crash. Dollars are pegged to stocks, right? So since we got that out of the way, since you know you shouldn't be investing in the stocks, the dollar's strength is directly correlated to gold and silver, right? So since you know that now, when the dollar's hurt, that's me literally proving that gold and silver is going to be up, right? Not only that, but you know silver is used in everything. Well, if you don't know that, I'm going to tell you. So it is, right? Well, we also have this green energy from Joe Biden since he won, which is going to push silver demand higher, but silver production's been getting cut back, okay? You get that part now? So when someone's telling you not to invest in the precious metals, why? Because I can tell you a million different reasons why you should. I can't tell you one reason why you shouldn't. But if you're investing in the stocks, and your friend probably is too, I can tell you a million reasons why you shouldn't, but I can't tell you one reason why you should. Good, I'm saying? Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here before I keep going on. But hopefully you learned something from this video. If you thought this video was educational, informational, at least entertaining, make sure to smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. I post daily videos. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.